What if I told you that one single AI chatbot changed the technology industry forever and, in the process, created a company worth tens of billions of dollars in just a few short years? Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the fascinating economics behind an absolute cultural phenomenon. We're going to take you right inside one of the fastest growing AI companies in history to see exactly how the mechanics of this massive business actually operate. So how does OpenAI actually make money? It's a simple question, right? But it has a surprisingly complex answer. Think about it. Millions of us use ChatGPT every single day. We use it to write emails, solve complex coding problems, brainstorm creative content, and, even build entire businesses from the ground up. But right behind all of that frictionless, seemingly magical text generation, there's a very real, very grounded business model. How does this everyday tool actually translate into massive revenue? Well, let's dive right into this because this is where the real mystery lies. Every single time you type a prompt into that text box, it triggers a chain reaction of massive computing power. Millions of these conversations are happening all around the globe every single second. So who's actually footing the bill for all of this? How do you take a product that's given away for free to the masses and somehow turn it into a multi-billion-dollar economic engine? Section 1. The cost of free AI. When ChatGPT hit the market, it didn't just grow, it absolutely exploded. It became one of the fastest growing consumer products ever created in human history. Within mere months, millions upon millions of users were completely relying on it. It became this essential daily tool for work, school, programming, and just countless creative projects. But as you might guess, that incredible historic adoption curve came with a massive catch. To you and me, ChatGPT just looks like a simple, lightweight chat window. But running powerful AI, it is not cheap. Every single response requires enormous computing power. We're talking about thousands of highly advanced GPUs, massive data centers just humming with activity, and literally billions of dollars in hard physical infrastructure. The logistical and financial reality required to process every single response is absolutely astronomical. Somehow, OpenAI had to figure out how to turn that massive expense into a profitable business. Section 2. ChatGPT Plus subscriptions. So instead of relying solely on users who access the tool for free, OpenAI introduced a tiered system with a monthly subscription, ChatGPT Plus. For those willing to pay, this tier unlocks significantly faster response times, guaranteed access to the most advanced AI models even when the servers are super busy, and early access to brand new premium features. It's a really smart way to separate the casual user from the power user. Now, you might be wondering, why do people actually pay for this? Well, millions of professionals, students, developers, and business owners happily subscribe because the return on investment is just immediately obvious. The extra productivity they gain easily outweighs that small monthly cost. And when you take those relatively small subscription payments and multiply them by a massive global user base, you suddenly create a very steady, highly reliable stream of recurring revenue. Section 3. The enterprise opportunity. Individual subscriptions are honestly just one piece of the puzzle. The true financial opportunity here comes from the B2B sector, business to business. Companies aren't just using ChatGPT to write quick emails. They're fundamentally integrating OpenAI's technology right into their core operations. Organizations are using these developer services to power their entire customer support networks, completely automate tedious workflows, instantly summarize massive legal or financial documents, analyze vast data sets, and even build bespoke internal AI assistants. The reason businesses are rushing to do this is super straightforward. Instead of spending years and millions of dollars trying to build their own AI models from scratch, they just pay to access OpenAI's existing world-class tech. For large enterprises, integrating this AI can drastically reduce operational costs, massively improve efficiency, and save thousands upon thousands of employee hours. That immense value proposition is exactly why businesses are more than willing to invest heavily in these enterprise AI tools. Section 4. The Microsoft Partnership. This right here is the ultimate symbiotic relationship. Microsoft saw the huge potential early on and invested billions of dollars into OpenAI. Through this deal, OpenAI receives the incredibly powerful cloud infrastructure and funding it desperately needs to keep running and training its models. In exchange, Microsoft gets the rights to integrate OpenAI's cutting-edge tech directly into its own products, like Microsoft Copilot and Azure AI services. This brings advanced AI features to millions of Microsoft customers worldwide. It's a brilliant win-win that completely redefined the industry.
Section 5. The hidden costs of AI.
Because let's be real, the logistical stack required to actually pull all of this off is staggering. Training and running large AI models requires an almost unfathomable amount of physical resources. First off, thousands of high-performance graphics processors have to work together continuously for weeks, sometimes even months, just to train a single new system. Then the massive electricity draw required to power these data centers is just off the charts. All that electricity generates insane heat, which demands massive, highly specialized cooling systems. And finally, you have the human element, an absolute army of top-tier engineers, researchers, and continuous cybersecurity efforts to keep the whole shebang safe and constantly improving. When you stack all of those immense costs together, you realize a pretty fascinating truth about the modern AI landscape. The barrier to entry is just way too high for almost anyone else. Only a tiny handful of companies in the entire world actually have the financial and physical resources required to build and run cutting-edge AI models at this kind of scale. It essentially creates a massive natural moat around OpenAI's entire business.
Section 6. The future AI ecosystem.
So what we've really learned from this explainer is that OpenAI isn't just selling a chatbot anymore. Not even close. They're building an inescapable global AI platform. Their business model is this incredibly cohesive economic machine. It beautifully combines individual consumer subscriptions, massive enterprise software deals, essential developer services, multi-billion-dollar strategic partnerships, and deep cloud technology integration. All of these separate revenue streams feed directly into one rapidly expanding, highly lucrative ecosystem.
Ultimately, this massive ecosystem is serving consumers, developers, businesses, and huge enterprise customers all around the world. As artificial intelligence becomes an absolutely integral part of our everyday lives, companies like OpenAI aren't just generating revenue. They're actively shaping how millions of people work, how we learn new things, and how we create art and technology.
Which kind of leaves us with this one final thought to ponder. The AI revolution we're witnessing right now, it is truly only getting started. The foundational models being built today are going to dictate the software of tomorrow. So as you look at the massive resources, the strategic partnerships, and the brilliant economic structures we've covered today, you really have to ask yourself, are the companies leading this charge today already locked in to define the future of technology for decades to come? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to subscribe for future explainers covering the world's biggest companies, AI innovations, and fascinating business strategies.